Hello, greetings and welcome. My name is Jamie Ann Jacobin. I'm the Executive Director of the James Renwick Alliance for Craft. We are so happy to have you here for our annual meeting. I think we're all in for a treat. We're going to be hearing from Carol Savion and the Craft in America team. And you're also going to be hearing about a number of things we have coming up at the Alliance, but also some achievements from last year. So welcome, get settled in, and I would like to invite our president, Rebecca Ravenel, to do a year in review. Rebecca?
So we have had a terrific year. We've presented 24 programs, almost half of which were free. We've served 1,475 audience members, plus many more who engaged via our YouTube page where programming is available on demand. We developed and offered new classes on craft history, which we hope to expand in the future. And we grew our national recognition, attracting attendees for programs held online and collaborating with several organizations, a few of which you see listed here. So one example of a new partnership for us was a recent Distinguished Artist Series program that we co-hosted with Hillwood Estate Museum and Gardens right here in Washington, D.C. The esteemed glass artist Deborah Moore was participating in a show at Hillwood, and we brought her to town to present an afternoon lecture and a tour of the exhibit at Hillwood. And that collaboration allowed us to expand our audience and try a very successful new format for our DAS program. So other recent programs include 2 wonderful caucus events for our dedicated caucus members, thanks to Bunny Schwartz and Sharon Buchanan. And we did a trip to a local sculpture park, and we had an opportunity to craft our very own work with multimedia artist KK Cribbs. For a look at some events we have upcoming, Jamie Ann Jacobin, our executive director, is going to talk a little bit.
So tonight you'll be hearing about many new initiatives and updates from the Alliance. And we're happy to continue to host a great schedule of programs throughout 2024. So go ahead and take a screenshot of all of our upcoming events, or take a look at the back of our upcoming Craft Quarterly, which will be coming out next month. So you can get a good idea of all of the events that are upcoming. You can also stay up to date on our website or through our email, so make sure that you're on the mailing list and you are subscribed. One of our most popular programs, of course, is our Distinguished Artist Series. If you've not joined us before, we're doing something a little different this year, where each of the artists are doing an online lecture, and then they are visiting Washington, D.C. for an in-person demonstration. So if you're unfamiliar with Jaden Moore, he's a metal artist repurposing silver tableware to create stunning wall works. Carol, I see you shaking your head. An amazing artist, indeed. Zemmer Peled uses thousands of individually crafted ceramic shards to make sizable sculptures. You can see her hiding within one of the gaps of her sculpture here. And then Tamara Koskinovsky repurposes fabric to create large, colorful, and fleshy sculptures reflecting on our consumption. During Tamara's weekend on March 30th, you will also have the chance to meet our 2024 Chrysalis awardee, Crystal Lemonese. Crystal will be giving an online lecture and joining us in Washington, D.C., where you have the opportunity to meet her either at Tamara's workshop or at a potluck generously hosted by Nidra and Peter Agnew. Sorry. And Crystal, I believe you're here. Is that accurate? Did you want to say hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi, Crystal. So we're very excited to have you joining us, of course. And people can stay posted to learn more about when she'll be in town and how we'll be getting together to celebrate you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing me as this awardee this year. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity to learn more about the organization and just share the work that I'm currently making and how it can benefit us all in understanding various individuals' lives. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. And I've been having a wonderful time learning more about your work. So thank you. We also want to thank Chris Rifkin, one of our board members, for making this award possible in 2024. If you also believe in the importance of supporting emerging artists, you can sponsor one of the Chrysalis Awards for future years. Up next, we are looking at glass, mixed media, and/or alternative mediums. So for $5,000, you can support one of these awards and you get to choose that medium. So if you're interested, of course, reach out to us. So other things to look forward to, our board just approved the hiring of a new staff person. I'm very excited about this. And you can look out in the coming months for that new person to be joining our team. And then for the first time in our history, we're starting a legacy giving program. You may remember that last year we started the Founders Fund in honor of Lloyd Herman and the founding members of the Alliance to develop new initiatives and sustain the growth of JRACraft. So now, through our legacy program, you can make a gift that will fund the Alliance and the future of the Alliance. I encourage you to look at the new page, explore what a promised gift looks like for you, and to get in touch with us about planned giving if you are interested. And Inga will be putting a link in the chat about that. So hopefully I did not speak too quickly, and now I'm going to introduce our treasurer, Jackie, to talk a little bit about a review of our finances.
Well, we are very financially healthy. Our reserves cover at least 6 months of our operating expenses, which was an important goal. And, in fact, I think we're going to be augmenting the reserves just a little bit this year. Let's see. Our reserves and I'm sorry, I'm reading, that never works well for me. We have seen a significant increase in revenue since 2020. Some of it has to do with our finding some ways to save a little on expenses. Others, we should credit Jamie Ann and the staff for introducing some wonderful new programs, which are increasing resources. We continue to invest wisely and grow cautiously. Our dedicated funds fund the Chihuly and Chrysalis Awards, Chihuly Fund for Publications. The pie chart that you're looking at is something that I had asked Jamie Ann to do a while ago, and I'm so proud of it that I had to talk about it. It is standard to say that if anything over 60% is spent on programs, a nonprofit is doing a good job. At 80%, we're excellent. And in fact, we're at 85%. Management is just 12%. Fundraising, which actually I'm hoping we're going to spend a little more on in the future, is 2.7%. So this really speaks to our wise management and fiscal health. So based upon our success at the end of each year, JRACraft allocates funds in support of our mission. Rebecca, our president, is now going to talk a bit about this year's allocations.
Thanks, Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
So we are very excited to announce that the board recently voted to support the Renwick Gallery with a $50,000 donation. And we want to thank Stephanie Stebich, Nora Atkinson, Mary Savig, and Christy Davis, many of whom are on the call tonight, for working with us to arrange this pledge. We have a long-standing relationship with the Renwick Gallery, and we're so pleased to be able to continue sponsoring shows and acquiring works for them. Our recent gift of $50,000 will go towards support of their upcoming show, Subversive, Skilled, Sublime, Fiber Art by Women, which will include artists like 2021 JRACraft Master of the Medium, Consuelo Underwood, our 2023 Distinguished Educator, Carolyn Maslumi, and one of our earliest Springcraft Weekend honorees, Lenore Tawney. In celebration of the exhibition, we'll be hosting several events, including an in-person exhibition tour for members. We'll co-present a virtual artist-curator talk with the Renwick Gallery, and caucus members will receive an invitation to the opening reception for the show. So once again, we're so pleased to have that this opportunity to sponsor this show. I'm not sure who's coming. Oh, next, Amanda Phillips will talk about our Chihuly Fund for Publications.
Thanks. And hi, everybody. Excuse me. Jackie already mentioned the Chihuly Fund. What we're excited about to tell you tonight is that we're glad that this longtime fund will now be much more available on our website. And the guidelines and the application form are now very easily accessible that way. This is a fund that supports fine craft publications, such as exhibit catalogs and books related to mid-career craft artists in particular. The fund was established with a gift from glass sculptor Dale Chihuly and has continued to be supported by individual donations to the organization and occasionally fundraising campaigns. Submissions are reviewed carefully by an ad hoc committee to determine the compatibility with our guidelines and the current JRA mission. And then they're taken to the board for a vote on a rolling basis. By including the fund guidelines and information on the website, we really hope to reach a broader group of applicants. So feel free to spread the word to those who you know might benefit from this fund. The link is probably going to be in the chat. And it's easy to find on the website. And locally, we've just supported a publication for the publication for More Clay exhibition at the Katzen just in 2022. And our very most recent award was voted on at our last board meeting for the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington, who requested $5,000 for artist Nancy Callan's Forces at Play, a fall 2024 retrospective of her work, which we know is going to be amazing. And Janice Berger is up now to tell you about SpringCraft Weekend.
Okay, it's time to get ready, set, and get your calendars ready to save the date for 4 events in 3 days. We're happy to announce that SpringCraft Weekend, our largest fundraiser, will take place on Friday, May 3rd through Sunday, May 5th. And if last year holds any indication, we thoroughly encourage you to be part of this year's excitement. And now, if you can move the slide ahead, Jamie, for a preview of this year's SpringCraft Weekend honorees. Although we're still awaiting a response or two, confirmed SpringCraft Weekend honorees include the acclaimed textile artist, Marilyn Pappas, who hand stitches classical depictions of beauty, as you can see on the screen, as well as Susie Ganch, who uses recycled materials to evaluate human consumption. This piece may actually look familiar because it is a piece we recently purchased for the Renwick Gallery's 50th anniversary and is currently on display in the second floor galleries. And last but not least, Beth Lipman, who both looks at consumption and classical beauty in her bountiful glass table spaces. And you may recall when JRACraft purchased a 20-foot table similar to the one pictured here for the Renwick Gallery in 2007. We will continue to keep everyone updated, if you want to advance the slide, Jamie, on further details as they unfold, because there will be many coming forward. But in the meantime, save the date, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you so much, Janice. So we're moving right along, and I think for good reason, because now I would like to introduce our featured guest of the night. Carol Savion is the creator and executive director of Craft in America. You may remember Craft in America was our 2020 SpringCraft Weekend Distinguished Educator. And Carol will be introducing her team to share some exciting projects on the horizon, including an upcoming episode about collecting. So to my surprise, they have generously put together a preview of the episode exclusive to us just for tonight. So I have to thank you and introduce Carol. Oh, and Carol, don't forget to unmute.
Thank you, Jamie Ann. And greetings to the James Renwick Alliance for Craft from Craft in America and Handwork 2026. We're joining you from Los Angeles, California, where we always enjoy being involved in craft conversations with the opposite coast. I want to begin my short introductions by thanking the James Renwick Alliance for this opportunity to talk about our projects and to say how significant it was for our organization to receive your 2020 Distinguished Educator Award. To be recognized with this honor has elevated our reputation both in the craft world and in the education world. I'd also like to praise Jamie Ann Jacobin for her brilliant leadership of the JRA. Jamie Ann is always available with ideas, which makes our relationship essential to Crafted America's mission to promote and advance original handcrafted work in all media. I've consulted with Jamie Ann often, and I consider her among the best executive directors in the craft field. Absolutely. We're thrilled that she has embraced the Handwork 2026 project and has already helped us in many ways. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing two people who are heading up Crafted America's main initiatives. Jen Ruppman, Senior Project Manager for Handwork 2026, and Patricia Bischetti, Executive Producer and Director of the Crafted America PBS documentary series. Jen Ruppman will share with us her work to launch and manage a new Crafted America initiative titled Handwork, Celebrating American Craft 2026. Crafted America is the lead participant in Handwork 2026, which will highlight the important place of the crafts in our nation, both in our history and in present day. This semi-quincentennial celebration will feature undertold stories from the very beginning of our country and before that time, when Native American peoples developed their techniques, which are still in use today. Jen comes to us from PBS, where she was the executive in charge of our Crafted America documentary series. Her knowledge, her love of the crafts, and organizational skills are being utilized to their fullest as we go forward with our work. Jen will share with you the mission and projects of Handwork 2026. We would love your involvement if the project resonates with you. Patricia Bischetti has been with Crafted America since our first season on PBS in 2007. Hard to believe that that many years have gone by. Her abilities as a filmmaker and her professionalism helped that first series to win the Peabody Award. Pat is now applying her skills as director to our production, having directed both play and miniatures, our newest episodes set to air nationwide December 29th and to stream on PBS starting this week. Pat is now hard at work producing our episodes for 2024, Collectors and Science. She will share her work for play and miniatures and give us a glimpse of what she has in store for us in the next episodes, where members of the James Renwick Alliance for Craft will play a special role. And just as an aside, I have to tell you, Patricia Bischetti has done more research, is more involved in each of the segments she has produced than anyone ever has been. I mean, it's just amazing. So we're so grateful to her for taking on this position. It's very important. And now, Jen, let's begin with you.
Thank you, Carol. And thank you so much to the James Renwick Alliance for Craft for having us as guests for your annual meeting. We're delighted to be here, and I'm very excited to tell you about Handwork 2026. As Carol mentioned, Handwork is a national semi-quincentennial initiative that will showcase the importance of the handmade, both throughout our history and in contemporary life. It will be a year-long celebration of the diversity of crafts that define our country through 5 key activities. First, handwork exhibitions. Museums and organizations around the country will present what craft means in their regions by hosting their own exhibitions. So far, confirmed participants include the International Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, the San Francisco Airport Museum, the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft, the High Museum in Atlanta, the Bainbridge Island Museum of Art in Washington State, the Columbia Museum of Art in South Carolina, the Center for Craft in Asheville, North Carolina, and Peters Valley School of Craft in New Jersey. We also have interest from the Wayne Art Center in Pennsylvania, the Corning Museum of Glass in New York, the Alfred Ceramic Art Museum in New York, the Penland School of Craft in North Carolina, Haystack Mountain School of Craft in Maine, the Arkansas Museum of Art, and the John C. Campbell Folk School in North Carolina. And we're only just getting started. These exhibitions will open throughout the year and will culminate with a special core exhibition at your very own Renwick Gallery. Thank you to Nora Atkinson and Mary Savig and their team for being such wonderful collaborators with our planning committee. We've been working together to acquire some really stunning and meaningful objects to anchor this exhibition, and we can't wait to see it in person in December 2026. Second, engagement. In addition to our partnership with you, we're formalizing partnerships with a number of other great organizations who will help us amplify our initiative through a robust social media campaign and through our comprehensive aggregate website, where all handwork information and programming will be centralized. Third, a handwork book is in development as well, which will serve as a tangible souvenir from the celebration. It will be one of the first and only books to bridge history by exploring the craft continuum over the span of American culture. Fourth, education. We will develop interdisciplinary learning initiatives for K through 12, as well as how-to components for lifelong learners of craft. And finally, we will bookend the celebration with 4 special handwork episodes of Craft in America on PBS, 2 in 2025 and 2 in 2026. Speaking of this series, I'm going to turn it over to Pat, who will tell you about Craft in America's latest episodes.
Thank you, Jen. I feel like we need a moment to take in that amazing scope that you just laid out and all the hard work it's taken. Thank you so much. And I'm just chiming in with Carol to say how thrilled we are to participate in JRA's annual meeting and how much we value how aligned our missions are with the JRA. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to be talking about our collectors episode, which will be in 2024. Sam Maloof, in our very first season in 2007, commented on the communion between the object maker and the material, and how that transcends into something much greater when someone appreciates and enjoys the object. And that really, really has a lot to do with the collectors episode. Our segments of Craft in America are usually about artists, so collectors was sort of a new and different idea. And I kind of went into it focusing on the inspiration, of collectors and inspiration and acquiring around collecting. I was sort of thinking that's what it would be about. But as I got to, as Carol said, research and speak with Fleur Bressler and Judy Chernoff and Jeff Bernstein and Nora and Mary and meet them and film with them, I realized that it goes much deeper, and that this whole idea of collecting is about seeing, and it's about interpreting and supporting and sharing. And I feel like everybody in this meeting is very much aligned with that as well. Meeting Fleur Bressler was an incredible experience. When Carol and I first went to meet her, before we started filming, I sort of walked out of her beautiful apartment and just enormous, astounding collection, just dazed. And I just remember looking at Carol going, how are we going to do this? And then when we started filming, Fleur just graciously greets us at the door and takes us through and gives us this incredible tour of her collection. And we're kind of, I remember standing in terror as she has this incredible Vicky Essig dress, just amazing dress hanging in the entranceway. And I remember sort of watching our crew, and we've been, as you know, filmed in 1,000 museums. We couldn't be more careful, but watching everybody walk by this dress, literally grown by silkworms, and just see it kind of flowing back and forth as we walked by, it's just in such terror. And I could barely keep up with Fleur as she was sort of taking us to one object after another. And she never for a moment hesitated in knowing who the artist was and all about them and the whole background of the objects. I mean, it was just a really inspiring experience to film with her. And to hear her talk about DC as a small Southern town when she was growing up, like how to even conceive of that. Her knowledge and her openness and her sense of adventure is just infectious. Not to mention hearing about her recent experience at Burning Man. So really, it was really astounding to film with her. And you'll see a little bit of her in the clip that we're about to show. And then walking into Judy and Jeff's home, from the moment we entered the doorway, we knew that we were in a really special place. And, you know, after learning a bit about Judy and Jeff, I was really interested in them as scientists and what they were going to have to, you know, what they would say about learning about their knowledge about wood and about these objects. And right as soon as we started filming, I realized once again, it goes so much deeper with them. And my interpretation is that their collecting practice really comes from the heart, even with all this knowledge and incredible appreciation that they have. But filming with them, I just realized that this was about, this particular focus of collecting is about relationships and learning about this really profound community in wood that they are very much at the center of. So it was really an honor to get to meet them. And then, of course, filming with Nora and Mary, they just elevated and deepened the conversation with their vision and their knowledge. And again, I just want to say how much we value and appreciate the Renwick and everything that you all do. So the other stories in the collectors episode will include Dr. Carolyn Maslumi, who you all know, and the Women of Color Quilters Network. Sarah Vance Waddell, a collector, also in Cincinnati, and an artist, Cynthia Lockhart, who is part of Carolyn's network. Also Cheech Marin and the Cheech Center for Chicano Art in Southern California, actually in Riverside, yeah. And a number of artists that we are filming with him, Frank Romero, Yolanda Gonzalez, Jaime Zacharias, and Francisco Palomares. That's been a lot of fun to film with Cheech. And the astounding teapot collection of Sunny and Gloria Cam, and artist Peter Shire, and many more. So we're excited about this collector's episode. As Carol said, it will air alongside the science episode. And our play and miniatures episodes, they'll be, as Carol said, they'll be available to stream on Friday. So we're excited about that as well.
Really, thank you so much to Carol, Patricia, and Jen for that wonderful presentation. I can't wait to see the episode. It really highlights how not only how extraordinary your show is, but how amazing and dedicated our members and our partner organizations are. So thank you so much. So we're coming to the end of the meeting, and I would be remiss if I did not mention that this meeting happens to fall on what has come to be known as Giving Tuesday, a time that might act as a prompt for people to contribute to organizations that are meaningful to them. As Jamie Ann mentioned, we have recently updated our own donations page to highlight ways that you can contribute to the ongoing success of JRACraft and our many programs that educate, support, celebrate, and focus on American craft and craft artists. We don't often ask directly for support, and we do truly appreciate your contributions and involvement. So if you would like to check out our website, jra.org, you can go to our new donations page and see how you can contribute today or in the future. And we thank you very much for that. Now, actually, if anybody has questions, we invite you to put them in the chat. And Inga and Jamie Ann will help get to some of those. Do we have questions, Jamie Ann?
What we do, but I also want to mention it could be a question for us or for Crafts in America. And,
Right.
you know, thinking of Giving Tuesday, whether it's the Alliance, Craft in America, Surf Plus, whatever your organization might be, we hope you're supporting American craft because it's what we all care about. So that also just comes to mind. So do we have questions for Craft in America or for the Alliance? I did see a note about, where did it go? About invitations to the openings at the Renwick Gallery. And unfortunately, is true, the Renwick Gallery has changed their policy about invitations drastically. So this will be the first year that we're able to invite our caucus members actually in a while. So if you've been on the fence about becoming a caucus member, this would be a great year to join. Okay, and Howard Cohen asks, are there 4 collectors episodes? I believe there's 1, but I believe there's 4 episodes for Handwork, A Year of American Craft 2026. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, maybe, Pat?
Sure. Yeah. So it's 2 episodes a year. Next year, one of our episodes is collectors. The second one in 2024 will be science. And then for the Handwork project, for the 2 years to follow, 2025 and 2026, again, we'll have 2 episodes a year. So 4 total that'll be focused around the Handwork 2026.
And for our members interested in the collectors episode, do you know about what season or what month it's coming out?
Yeah, it will be in the fall of next year, sometime between October and December.
Okay, great. We have questions. Oh, and Ruby Lopez Harper is in the audience. So of course I mentioned Surf Plus and she's the director. It says, are you looking for volunteers or support for Spring Craft Weekend? Yes and yes. If you want to be a little creative, we have opportunities for volunteering in advance to Spring Craft Weekend. We also have the weekend of, as Janice mentioned, it is 4 events over 3 days, so it is a lot, and volunteers make it possible. So if you are interested, let us know. And patrons of Spring Craft Weekend, which are essentially supporters of the weekend, get first opportunity to purchase tickets and can kind of come to all of the events. And so that is probably the most significant way that you can support the weekend. And Michelle has asked about the Spring Craft Weekend honorees. I'm going to, if I can, share my screen one more time in case you missed the announcement. And here we are. Tell me if you can see this. We had, and not all of our honorees are selected. These are just 3 of the confirmed honorees as of now. So I should clarify that. But so far we have Marilyn Pappas, who some of us met on our Boston trip. If you joined us for that trip. Susie Ganch. So many are familiar because her work is currently at the Renwick Gallery. We purchased this piece that you're seeing in the photo for the museum. And then Beth Littman. And although I did not include a picture of the piece that we purchased, it is a similar 20-foot table that we purchased a few years ago for the Renwick Gallery. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Rebecca, just to give a final farewell, and maybe we'll see some of you this weekend for JRACraft Day.
Yeah, really, all I wanted to say was thank you so much for being here tonight, for being members and supporters of JRACraft and the other organizations that are here tonight. And we do look forward to seeing you at future events. And you can always visit our website to see what's coming up. So thank you so much and have a good evening.